Hey, thanks for tuning in. So I've been making a number of different videos lately that reflect on what it is to be a performance artist for a live audience. And it's something that I love doing, I'm addicted to doing it, but it's also something that I find very challenging. And that's part of the thing I like a lot about it, is the challenge of it. The challenge of trying to appeal to a large group of people and bring them into your show and bring them in to your own little world for a little moment and wow them, amaze them, and maybe make them chuckle here and there. And maybe even get a couple bucks at the end of the show through their kind-hearted, generous donations. So I have enjoyed doing street performing in the past, but I don't do street performing anymore because I'm not in a really good location for that. You don't do street performing for a living in sunshiny, God-loving Detroit City. There's just not too many good places to go street perform in the Detroit area. And if you do, you want to take advantage of the seasonal events like sports games or like music festivals and things like that. It's not like a place you can go out and work regularly like Key West, Florida, or New Orleans, or New York City, or Chicago, or LA, or Las Vegas, or any other big city where there's a lot of foot traffic and you see people doing silly human tricks or playing guitars for money. Detroit's not like that. We just don't have things like that. I mean, arguably we have Ann Arbor and Royal Oak and maybe some other places that embrace that sort of stuff, but there's just not a lot of money to be made there. And then also, you never know what you're gonna get. So it's difficult to commit to doing something like that regularly. Not to mention, the street performance game has changed quite a bit over the years with the invention of these cell phones and YouTube, which we're on right now, where people can just go online and see artists doing things. They don't have to walk around on a street and see people just do random things anymore. People usually have an agenda when they're outside walking around, and they don't want to stop and watch an entertainer because they know they can be guilted into having to give them a small tip or a donation for watching their show. And sometimes people would rather watch from far away and then keep walking because they don't want to disrespect the entertainer by watching their show for free. And sometimes people don't even care. They'll sit there and watch the show, and then when they pass the hat, they get offended that this beggar is asking for money. Even if the show is good, I've seen some people do legendary shows, amazing magicians out there in the street, and you have half the crowd walking away not giving a tip, while the other half is making up for it by throwing in 20s and in 10s and 50s and sometimes even hundreds. I've seen hundreds hit street performers' hats before. Really good street performers can actually make that happen. It takes talent. And then also for some people, $100 is just, it's like 50 cents to a lot of us. You know, it's just like nothing to them because they make so much money. Another thing I discovered too is you never really know how rich someone is by looking at them. Typically, I've discovered a lot of the very wealthy people dress very modestly and they try to blend in with the rest of society. While people who want to look rich, they are the ones who go out there and buy all the designer clothing and they like to flash this wealth that's not really existent, because real wealthy people and real rich people, they know to not waste money on things like that. They know to put their money more into investments. Anyways, the point is I love doing performance art and I love bringing crowds in at the Michigan Renaissance Festival. I have a stage show there, and my job is to build a crowd, a lot like you would do if you were doing street performance work in the street. And you build a crowd and you have them sit down in the seats. And fortunately for this environment, people are ready to be entertained. Unlike the street where everyone has some motivation to be somewhere else. They're obviously trying to make sure they're keeping up with the schedule and they're trying to get somewhere else. Most people aren't trying to be distracted by some stranger on the street trying to get them to sit down for 20 minutes to watch their show. But at a festival like the Renaissance Festival, people are expecting to be entertained. They're expecting to go up to a stage and wonder when the next act is coming on and to watch a show every once in a while. So I have that in my advantage when I'm doing shows there at the Michigan Renaissance Festival. And when I was doing one of my shows, I think just a couple weekends ago, I was doing my show, and what I do at the end of the show when I'm done doing my tightrope walking act is I bounce on the line a couple times, I jump off the line and land on the stage, and I do a dramatic pose, and that's when the audience applauds, because I tell them that's when they should applaud when I'm doing my dramatic poses, and that's when I pass the hat. Well, one of these particular shows, I jumped off the line, and on the count of 3, instead of jumping off the line, my pole just collapsed. If you're not new to my channel, you've heard me talk about this particular circumstance before. And what I'd like to do now is show you how I was trying to fix it one morning. With little cinema magic, I'm going to snap my fingers and magically teleport back to a couple weeks ago when I was fixing the pole at the Michigan Renaissance Festival. My post yesterday when I was doing my rope walking act fell over at the end of the second show I did of the day. So I went to a local hardware store and I got these super cool, easy mender, fence post menders. And I'm just going to fix this right here. It breached right down, really down low, close to where the stage is. It's because there was 4 knots in it around the same area. So I'm not a doctor when it comes to post repairs, but that's what I'm working on right now. I got 2 of these just in case to reinforce it from both sides, and we'll see what happens today. I might even throw some wood glue in there for good measure. All right, cinema magic. Let's skip to the next scene. And we're back here at the Paisley couch. So yeah, that's what happened there. I used that fancy little metal gadget on my 4x4 timber, and once I tried testing it out after I screwed it all in, the thing just bent. It just bent because, yeah, it wasn't being used properly, ultimately, is the thing. So what ended up happening was a dear friend of mine, Jonathan the Pahuli, which you've seen him in previous videos. He looks a lot like this guy right here. A wonderful man. He actually gave me the inspiration to be doing my rope walking act at the Michigan Renaissance Festival, and he's also been a wonderful friend for a lot of other reasons too. He's a very, very talented performance artist. He's a wonderful comedian, a magician, a wonderful friend, a hard worker. There's so many things about Jonathan that are absolutely wonderful, and I'm blessed to have him as a friend in my life, and to have him as a mentor, guiding me in a good direction as a performance artist. He took it upon himself to go all the way up to the Michigan Renaissance Festival and fix my post for me. Yeah, he fixed it for me. He got another one of those interesting gadgets that I used to try to repair my post, and he used them on the sides so they had better side-to-side bracing, and we glued the thing in place before, but I thought that it just wasn't worth giving up on, but he took some time to patch it up really nice, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. And even with all that repairs being done, I've only used that new setup just a couple times because when that post fell down, I found myself going into the lanes and doing my rope walking act from a tree stump up to a tree branch that's about 10 feet in the air, and the line's about maybe 24 feet long. And it was such a better show. The audience responds a lot better, and it just turned out to be a much more powerful experience for not only the audience, but also for me, because I get a much larger crowd. I get more excited. They get more involved. They make more hooting and hollering. It attracts more people. I get a full 360-degree show going on. But the downside is that my voice was only going in one direction. When I'm walking on a tightrope up to a tree branch, my voice is projecting this way, and my voice isn't very bassy. It's not very projecting. It's not the best voice for doing a show. If I start yelling, it sounds forced. It doesn't sound natural. It doesn't sound very good. So I'm working on speaking from the diaphragm and amplifying and projecting my voice more so without amplification. But what I ended up doing was just swallowing my pride and investing into a sound system and putting it on top of my cart. So when I'm doing my show, people can hear all around now. It works very, very well, very effective. And I found for myself after I started using the sound system, I'd get much bigger crowds. I'd get bigger tips too, because people can actually hear my jokes. They can hear what I'm saying. They can hear what my cues are to get them to respond to my show. And overall, it's been a very good experience with Jonathan's help, as well as the sound system's help, as well as adapting and just going with things and making it more natural and more smooth. So this year for me as a performance artist has been incredibly challenging, not just because I'm switching characters from Flec the Wanderer to Flec the Fool, but I'm also adapting with the use of technology in my show and using sound amplification and experimenting with different material, throwing in new jokes and taking out ones that just aren't working, and trying to find better ways to improve my show all the time. The show as it stands right now is doing okay, and sometimes I don't do the show the way I necessarily want to do it, and then sometimes I speed through some of my material and forget a line here and there. But that's okay, because this is all a learning process, and it gets better every single time I do it. And fortunately, the audience doesn't know what you plan on doing, what you not plan on doing. They're there to see some sort of experience and laugh and have a good time. And as long as that's what's happening, that's all that really counts, I feel. I'm going to keep trying, I'm going to keep doing it, and as long as there's an audience out there that's listening to me, I'm going to keep broadcasting out there to the YouTube land, and also keep doing my shows at the Michigan Renaissance Festival as long as they keep having me back. And I love that job. I love working there. I love providing value and entertainment and laughs and moments of astonishment for curious onlookers. It really gets me out of bed in the morning. It really does. I love doing it, and I want to keep doing it for years and years to come. And that's where I'll leave you folks. Thanks for listening. I'm all over the place. I've been making a lot of videos lately on what it is to be a performance artist, at least in my particular circumstances of doing stage shows at the Michigan Renaissance Festival. I'll be doing more content in the future about performance artistry, how to value your art, how to find inspiration to be more creative, some suggestions on what you can do to improve the quality of your own shows and your own art, and all sorts of different things. But that's the future. What I've already done in the past is already out there on YouTube, and I've done a lot of different videos about a lot of different subjects, and I encourage you to check out my playlist section here on my channel where I've carefully organized all of the content I've made so far this year. I posted a video for every single day this year, and I intend on doing it for every single day for the rest of this year. So it's chaos, it's unorganized, it's scatterbrained, it's all over the place, and I've organized it all for you. So you don't have to go sifting through all the garbage. You can find the garbage all nice and tidy inside my playlist section here on my channel. So being a fellow with many different interests, you can naturally assume that there's no dedicated focus here on my channel. But haha, joke's on you. I do have a dedicated focus because once a week I do post circus and flow arts tutorials where I teach people the art of contact juggling, or even the art of padiddling or spinning things on their finger just like this, or even how to juggle balls like that over there, or even juggle clubs. You can even learn how to do devil sticks just like that. The devil sticks and I go way back. That was the beginning of my relationship with the circus and flow arts. Been doing it for a long time, ever since I was 14. So I'm 38. You can figure out how long I've been doing that if you do some math, and that's up to you entirely. Anyways, that's a wrap, folks. That's my video for today. All over the place. I'm scatterbrained. I got a lot going on in my life, and I'm still going to post every single day regardless. So I appreciate you coming along for the ride, listening to my stream of consciousness rants, and what it's like to be a performance artist, or at least a little taste of it. You never really know what it's truly like unless you do it yourself. And even then, do you really know what it's like? It's all relative, right? I'm not always a performance artist. Sometimes I'm a caregiver. Sometimes I'm a brother. Sometimes I'm a son. And pretty soon I'll be a father, and I'm very excited about that. So we'll know more about that down the pipeline. But until then, I'm gonna end the video right now. Thanks again for watching. Please check out my playlist section where I've organized all my content for the year of 2021. And I'll leave you with these words of wisdom, we'll call them. Remember to never give up, and to do your best, and to stay true to you, and be amazing. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye-bye-bye-bye.